Hello, and welcome to the Allegheny Arts Council's Art on Demand. My name is Bobby Croft, and I'm a local artist and art educator that will lead you through today's lesson. In today's lesson, we're going to learn how to create Adinkra symbols through the process of printmaking to create fabric-like designs. Adinkra is a visual symbol. This traditional African textile dates back to the 1800s. Adinkra symbols were once printed on fabric in a grid pattern using a carved gourd. This special fabric was reserved for royalty and spiritual leaders. Today, Adinkra cloth is widely available and commercially printed on fabric, t-shirts, and jewelry for everyone to wear and enjoy. For this project, you're going to need adhesive foam sheets. Now you can pick this up at any craft store or at Walmart. I picked up this entire packet from Walmart of 40 sheets for maybe $3. But like I said, you can pick it up at any craft store, and all the foam sheets are thin sheets of foam that you would use for crafts that have a peel and stick back to it. Now, if you can't pick up the foam sheets, you can use scrap cardboard as well. You'll need scrap cardboard cut down into small pieces. You'll need a pencil, Sharpies, or some sort of permanent marker. You'll need a pair of scissors, paint, and a paintbrush, and then something to put your paint on. The first step of this project is to create the stamps that you will use for your printing. So you can see here that I have 3 different stamps already created. I have a moon, I have a sunburst, and I have a turtle. Traditionally, these symbols would hold some sort of significance. Maybe they represented a belief or an ideal or a principle that everyone should follow. So you can create your own symbols, or if you wish, or you can do some research on your own using the internet to find some symbols. Either will be okay. But once you have your symbols decided on, what you're going to do is using small pieces of that foam sheets that you have cut into squares, about 2 inches by 2 inches. You will draw your symbols on there and then trace them with marker or Sharpie so you can see. So I already have my symbol on my foam, and the foam doesn't allow us to really draw too well with pencil. So I like to go over my pencil lines again with Sharpie, so as I'm cutting out I can see what I'm doing. So I'm going to draw my star there. Now what I'm going to do is very carefully, using my pair of scissors, I'm going to cut along the line of my symbol that I just drew. Now be very careful. The foam is kind of spongy and can be difficult to cut out. So if you need help cutting out, ask an adult to help you with this step of the project. The scraps can be thrown away. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to peel the paper off of the back of my star, and I'm going to put my star that I've cut out of the foam onto a piece of cardboard. This is going to be the backing that's going to allow you to print them. So you can make as many stamps as you want using this technique. I'm going to use 4 for my project, but you can use as many or as few as you want. So now that you have your stamps created, we get to have a lot of fun with the printing part of this project. So what you'll need is something to put your paint on, your paint, a paintbrush, and your stamps. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little daub of paint. You don't need a lot of paint for what you're going to do. I'm going to put my container of paint off to the side, and using a paintbrush, I'm going to load up my paintbrush with some paint. Now you can use whatever colors you wish. I used white, black, brown, and now I'm using gold for my star. I'm going to take my paintbrush and I'm going to put a generous amount of paint on the foam only. We're not going to paint or add paint to the cardboard. The cardboard is there to allow us to pick our stamps up fairly easily and use our stamps without making a big mess. So I'm going to put a significant amount of paint there. The more paint you put on there, the more it's going to show in the final product. So to help you see how this project's going to look over time, I've already begun. I started this project and you can see that I've used my other symbols and I'm creating a pattern here. And in these empty spaces, I'm going to use my star to add further pattern. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my stamp face down. So I'm putting the paint face down and I'm going to press really hard on the back. What I want to do is press hard so that that paint transfers off of my stamp onto the paper. And I'm going to pull it up and there you can see my gold star. Now I'm going to repeat this pattern over and over for each stamp that I want to create, or each impression that I want to create. So I'm putting paints onto my stamp. And then I'm going to repeat this pattern. And you can create whatever pattern you wish. Have fun with this. Create your own patterns for your design. This is your artwork and there's no right or wrong way of doing it. And you might notice that I have used a piece of paper underneath of my workstation so I don't get any paint on my table. And I would suggest you do the same to keep your area nice and clean. So I have one more stamp. And typically I would let this sit and dry over the course of a few hours so I don't make a mess, but for the sake of time, what I'm going to do is I'm going to speed up the process. I'm going to use a pair of scissors, and along the top and the bottom, I'm going to cut into my paper, creating a fringe, like you see at the bottom of some rugs or blankets. And as we are imitating a piece of fabric, this is a great way to finalize your work for display. So I'm only cutting a few inches into the paper, but this is a nice little detail that you can use to put your work on display. And then I would do the same at the top. And there you have your very own Adinkra-inspired artwork. We would love to see what you've created at the Allegheny Arts Council. Please take a photo and send it to us using the information on the screen. And be sure to sign in next month when we will create name paper sculptures.